Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome back, guys. We are on episode 6. We got a super special guest today. I'm thrilled to have Tony Williams here. Tony is our sales manager here in Phoenix and specializes in the solar closes. So why don't we start there, and then we'll get into a little bit of background. We got a lot to cover. We've known each other for a long, long time, so I'm super excited to catch up and just kind of tell that story. But let's start off with what you do for the solar industry at Reimagine, how you help get deals across the finish line, the impact you're making day in and day out.
All right. First of all, thanks for having me. I mean, this is fun, especially if we can talk about how we met a little bit later.
Yep.
So what I specialize in is we call them cliffhangers. You know, if solar reps are out there, you know, they only know a certain amount about roofs. And what I do is I go out there and I help get the close across the finish line. I bring a 6-star experience. I'm professional. I show the homeowners, you know, what is going on up on that roof, and I push those deals across the finish line to keep the wheels moving.
Awesome, awesome, cool. And now let's back up a little bit. How did we first meet? Tell that story, and then we'll get into how you got linked up with Reimagine and kind of what kind of ride it's been.
Awesome. Well, so as you guys know, we're both Marines, and I met Cody back in 2015. We lived at the same apartment complex in Tempe, and we met out at the pool. You know, both guys pretty good shape with our shirts off, and we both kind of just eyeballed each other at first to kind of see, you know, just to feel the vibe. You know, and fast forward 2 months later, you know, we're hanging out, going to the gym. You know, he's been pushing me ever since, and I think we had a disconnect for a couple years when we went our different ways. And then, you know, you kind of were recruiting me a little bit for Reimagine Roofing. And, you know, ever since then, it's been, you know, to the moon. So
yeah, so pushing you. Yeah, let's tell that story. Let's tell a story about some green monsters. So I had moved down here from Ohio, moved down here by myself after my second year out of the Marine Corps. And then I brought my buddy down, Griff, who was my best friend from the Marine Corps. He came down with me a year later. We moved into the apartment together right next to you. And we were trying to get in amazing shape. I think I was actually getting ready for my bodybuilding competition at the time. So yeah. I was all about the nutrition, all about the fitness. I was like every single macro. And you guys were telling me, yeah, I'm about it too. But then every single time I would go somewhere by myself. I'd go to class or something, come back, and I'd come home early. I'd always catch you guys with Doritos and green monsters. What else were you guys sneaking?
Well, you see, we'd come home late. And Cody would always making us put a potato in the microwave to make sure we kept our carbohydrates up. And Griff, as he explained, we'd always hide monsters. There actually might be some in here. But yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of what Cody did to keep us on track. And now, you know, I have him as a mentor and CEO, and it's been nothing but you know, amazingness since we started this.
Yeah. So tell me from your perspective, what has this ride been like? You know, I first started talking to you when I was still at my previous roofing company. I remember it was during COVID lockdowns. We were going to the park, hitting some workouts, and I was like, man, I'm on this roof and stuff. I'm about to do some crazy stuff. So what has it been like for you, both, you know, joining as an employee, but then also as a friend, and also just this? I mean, how long have you been with us now? What, 9 months, 8-9 months?
Over a year.
A year now? Over a year?
Yep.
I lose all track of time.
Check the LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I guess it's been a lot longer, huh? Yeah. You joined in what, April, right?
April.
It was April. Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be April, and then I pushed a week
yeah, you went on vacation. You set the tone. Set the tone by going on vacation on the day you're supposed to start.
Yeah.
But you were what, employee number 4, 5, something like that?
5, right behind Nick Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah. But so, well, what I was doing right before this was I was managing a troubled youth group home, and it was very stressful just because of what that can kind of bring to the environment that you're in. So when I came over to Reimagine Roofing, I didn't know what to expect because I came from somewhere where I was just managing young men, trying to get them into you know, adulthood. And now here I am, expected to have customer service forefront, dealing with the solar reps and just growing the company. So at first I had this mindset where I say, I can't do that. We'd argue. I think we've hung up on each other like 4 times.
Well, I'll take some responsibility for that because I'm a really good salesman, and I sold you on this. Like, hey, all you're gonna do is just come in and be this veteran liaison. You're gonna go. I was like, you're gonna go to just the VFWs. You're just gonna have some beers with some old salty vets and just, you know, roll out the program and help vets getting roofs. You know, and that was kind of what the plan was originally. But you joined right as we had our first little explosion of growth, and so you know. Yeah, go back to that point about us arguing. I remember I used to argue with you because you would tell me I'm not a roofer, or I can't roof, or I can't learn this, and I would tell you like it's the story you're telling yourself, because I felt it myself just 6 months ago. I wasn't a roofer. I'm scared of heights. I'm not good at construction, and I was telling myself that until one day I realized like, oh no, I can do this, and then ever since then, like everything just clicked. And that was what we were arguing about, was the mindset. Mm-hmm. So talk a little about that. And what did you have a point? Can you think back to a point where it actually changed, and you're like, this was when I had my point of inflection, or was it just a process over time? What was that like?
Yeah, it was tough because I've always had that mindset, and I finally developed and grown out of that. But when it really switched was when we went from keeping the lights on at, I think it was 125 a month for that first 2 months to, finishing at 6 million. It was at that time when I realized that I am resourceful, whether it's YouTube or Google. I can find the answers, and then I can come to you with the problem and the solution. Mm-hmm. And that's the way when you told me that and I started doing that, that's when I was like, I don't have to knock on your door. I don't have to go to, Jeff Lacombe, our number 2 in charge. I don't have to do that stuff. And I can find this out by using not only the internet, but people I have it with in the company, and that was probably the biggest change for me in helping my growth, was knowing that I do bring value, and that I
100%. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's such a big takeaway, because I would say that's one of the biggest things that clicked for me, and that I try to teach you guys all the time. And this goes for everybody out there. If no matter what you're in, if you're learning something new, if you always go and ask the question instead of trying to provide the solution first, you will never learn anything. I tell you guys all the time, there's a reason that I can't get around the city, and I use GPS everywhere. There's a reason I can't spell the word convenient. You know why? Because every time I try to spell that word where it has a bunch of EIs and N's in it, I just have to Google it, and then I get the right spelling. But my brain never has to actually learn it, because I have an easier option. Mm-hmm. And so if we constantly, our brains are I call them the monkey brain or the child brain. Our brains are lazy. Our brains are just big, giant children hanging it out, and they want the easiest pathway every single time, unless we conquer that. And so if you always are able to just come ask me the question, then your brain goes, as soon as I don't know something, go ask Cody. Mm-hmm. If instead you have to come to me and say, hey, this is the problem, this is what I think, this is what I would do, is that right? Now you are forced to think and problem solve, bring me a solution, and then I'll either tell you yes or tell you no. But if I tell you no, then you're like, okay, I'll never make that mistake again.
100%.
And so by doing that repetitively, another example I give is, foreign language. They always say the best way to learn a foreign language is to just go to somewhere that doesn't speak English. So if you go over to Paris and no one's speaking English, they're all speaking French, you're going to be like, I want to communicate, I have to learn this. But if you go try to learn, French in the office, and you go try to talk to somebody, you're like, parlez-vous, dog? Like, you just like look up. Your brain's always going to know, hey, if I don't know something, I need to go just to the internet.
100%.
So you kind of join us. What was the learning curve like for you? Like, what was it? Was it like kind of like in the gym where one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I have muscles? Or was it every day you were just kind of looking at it like, hey, I'm getting better. And then where are you at in that journey right now?
I would say it was walking at first, watching YouTube videos and watching them again and being able to recite what they're about to say. That's when it started clicking for me. Watching that stuff on the treadmill. When we have our one-on-ones, we look back on our goals, and you're like, you crushed these goals, and that was a month ago, and I'm like, holy S. Can we say?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like this is now you're selling, you're creating estimates, you're presenting to homeowners, and just 2 months ago you didn't know what a rake or an eve was, and that's when the learning curve started changing. And then it was 2 months after that. Now I'm training people.
Yeah. That's what the arguments were. You're like, well, I'm not a roofer. I can't be a roofer. I'm like, what do you mean? Look right here. Your goal was to like be able to do an estimate, 30 days ago, and now you just sold 6 roofs last month. Like, look what you know how to do. You know how to install square shingles now. Like, and I was just constantly frustrated that you weren't able to see how much amazing growth you were making in such a short time. And for me, I was like, man, look at this guy go. Like, we're a couple meatheads hanging out like at the pool, and now this guy's out here slinging roofs. And then he comes to me and tells me he sucks. And I was like, you are an idiot. Like, that was the biggest frustration.
Yes.
So once you kind of turn that curve, talk to me a little bit about, like, did you ever feel like you reached a plateau? I relate so much back to fitness because that's just what I know best. But I feel like there's so many parallels in life. And I feel like I've even felt it as the CEO of the company, as growing the company. There's times where I just start coasting for a month or something, right? And I have to kind of check myself, like, hey man, you're sleeping in now. Hey man, you're not the first in, last out. Like, did you ever hit some scenarios like that? And how did you push through them? And what were they like?
Yes. I think when I tried taking on the role of GM, I feel like I hit a plateau somewhere around when we made the transition to here. And we're all our worst critics, but we came back to the drawing board. And instead of, being down and out, we found a new route for me, which was sales, because I can talk to homeowners and I know the product and I know what it should be. So I think, I might have hit a plateau, but what we did and what we created was found a new route. And now, since I have been doing that, there's no plateauing now. You can always learn something new. There's always something you can sell. There's always ways you can improve yourself to help you selling in front of customers. And now I have not hit a plateau.
Yep. And that was actually, we talked about that at a company level, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that, just because you're ready to be the GM of a 5-person company doesn't mean you're ready to be a GM of a 60-person company. And sometimes the company's going to outgrow people's roles. And it takes a special person to have that self-reflection and say, hey, I cannot fill this role right now because I don't possess the skill set, and I can't learn quick enough because this just blew up overnight. Nope. I mean, none of us anticipated when you were promoted GM of 6 people that, like, in less than a year we would be at 75. And so we sat down and we said, hey, what are you great at? And that's my favorite thing about our company, is that I can sit down with almost every single person in this company and they'll have a similar story of, I started here, I did this, I went here, and then I finally found my wheelhouse, and now I'm just growing. Mm-hmm. So talk a little about those successes that you've had. What is it like? How many solar deals have you helped close last month? What does it feel like when you have that interaction with that solar rep and you help him sign a deal and you help a homeowner make an amazing decision?
It's amazing because you have 2 customers. You're keeping that solar partnership strong, and I know all these guys on first name basis, and they come to me. They know they're in good hands when they go out there, and then I go out there and I meet the homeowners, and now it's just packaging together a deal. And I think last month was my highest selling month so far, and I believe I had 4 solar roof bundles that helped them get across to, and then and in that note, they send me referrals that don't have solar. So that's kind of what the special thing is here, is because if they don't have solar, they still send me the referral, and then vice versa. If I'm out there doing a roof deal for one of these solar reps, I'm knocking around the neighborhood and putting all those deals right back into their hands, because that's all it is. That's all it's about, is these partnerships. And I believe, like I said, I think I did four deals last month.
Yep. And so, I mean, just do the math on that. If you're doing 4 a month, that means you're helping close 50 a year. Like, that is a massive amount of volume to help people get across the finish line. And just to be clear for everybody listening, these are deals that are not signed. They do not get signed unless you go out there. And I came from solar sales. I mean, and anybody listening is from solar sales. Think back to how many times you had that homeowner and they were like, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and move forward, but maybe not tonight. Like, I just want to sleep on it. And you're like, you obviously try to overcome objections, but at the end of the day, sometimes they need to sleep on it. And then all that excitement wears off the very next day. Now, what we offer is then you'll get out there the next day in 24 or 48 hours and go talk to them about the benefits of a solar roof combination, and then help them get across the finish line. And like, don't you get up there sometimes and take photos and show the homeowner just how bad the roof is?
Oh yeah, 100%. You can't put solar on a bad roof, and some of these homeowners don't understand that. If their roof's not leaking, but it's 25 years old, they're like, well, it's not leaking. But these photos and the way I do my inspections will show them, and they will understand it when I'm done with that.
And for me, as a salesperson, it's such a huge value add, because it touches on two points. One, it touches on the second touch, which the more times we touch somebody, especially with multiple people, the more likely they are to move forward and have trust. But the second thing, the biggest thing in my mind, is you transition from a want to a need. Solar's a want. You do not need solar. You want it because it's going to save you money and it's a great economic investment. A roof, A roof's not a want. A roof's a need. If your roof is leaking or it's about to leak, it needs to be replaced. And so once we show the homeowner, we educate the homeowner, they say, oh my gosh, I need a roof. Alarm bells are going off, and then there's no better way to buy a roof than through solar. They've already looked at the solar. It now becomes a no-brainer. It's such a powerful frame, and it's why it's been so successful and why, you're just part of the team. But I mean, last year alone, we helped close 116 deals this way. You're going to probably help close 40 this year. And as a company, we're going to help move more than 200 solar deals across the finish line just by educating homeowners. I mean, it's amazing. And it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I mean, yeah, the heat gets to you, but it's really getting the reviews at the back end, taking our solar reps out to Topgolf, which we're going to be going here soon.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it, and that's what keeps me going every day.
Yeah, and it's relationship selling, and it's the best way to sell when you're selling something that you truly believe in, that people truly need, and it just becomes easy and fun.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit prior to Reimagine Roofing. You mentioned that you'd worked a little bit at a group home. What did you do before that? And was there a break between that and the Marine Corps, or was it Marine Corps prior to that?
Yeah, so after high school, I this comes back to my selling myself short. Didn't think I was smart enough for college or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, hey, what better way to go than the military? So I joined the Marine Corps, and I ended up being a machine gunner. Spent 4 years in there and did a couple deployments. But after the Marine Corps, I'm a small town guy from Illinois, so I wanted to move out to Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Machine gunner. What does that mean? Are you on the turret, or like what do you? Yeah,
precisely.
Okay.
No, you specialize in different weapon systems, anywhere from a 50 cal to a ground mounted weapon, to stuff that's on helicopters. In Afghanistan, I was a gunner for 50 cal, a Mark 19, which is automatic grenade launcher. For those of you who are curious, and so 4 years of that was really, really fun. I got to actually travel to Afghanistan twice, and 4 years went by super fast. So as I came out here, I did.
Were you in North Carolina the whole 4 years?
Yep.
I mean, other than training.
Yep, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and then trained in what do they call it?
29 Palms.
29 Palms or MCRD, I guess, San Diego. San Diego. So West Coast Marine to East Coast Marine, and then lived back on the West Coast. And then after that, came out here. Go ahead.
I was going to say, talk a little bit more about just kind of the machine gunner role. Like, what does that look like day to day versus, in Afghanistan on a daily and a weekly basis versus back in garrison? What was the difference like? And then what motivated you to move away from the Marine Corps and not do 20 or 25 years?
Well, it's tough because I didn't join the Marine Corps to, this is going to be complete honesty. I didn't join the Marine Corps to necessarily serve my country. I just wanted to be a badass. Mm-hmm. So you step foot on Afghanistan, a wake-up call once you start getting shot at, and you realize, like, oh, this is real. But that's what transformed my entire life, is what I became a man. And from that, from those days forward, after I had gotten back, then you get back to garrison life, and you kind of get lost because you're stuck in a way. You're always on edge, or you're expected to know what's there every day. You're going on patrol, going to do this, going to do that. Well, it's not like that when you get back in garrison. Mm-hmm. And so it was tough for a while trying to find myself and what I was going to do. And everybody's just like.
Would it also be accurate to say that just those things that matter so much to the people at garrison, especially like leadership, just become it's very hard to matter to you as well after you're just coming back from something like that.
100%. I mean, I really can't even describe it.
It makes what is already dumb even dumber.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So,
yes.
So you're, you said that was did two tours in Afghanistan over 4 years. And then for you, was it just a clear decision to get out, or were you kind of on the fence? Was there any injury involved that motivated that?
Clear decision to just get out after 4 years. I never saw myself as a lifer in the Marine Corps. Like I said, at one point I didn't even know why I joined, but after those 4 years, I was ready to call it up, hang it up, and to move on to the next chapter.
And did you have a plan coming out, or were you just kind of like how I was, where it's just like, I'm getting out, I don't care what, I'm getting out. Like, if you guys let me out, then I'll figure something out then.
Same exact thing, which was even scarier because I packed up and I drove U-Haul with a car hauler across the entire country to Phoenix, Arizona. Lived in the hood, South Phoenix, because what you guys will meet Irvin here in a few episodes, I'm sure. He said it was a good area. So it was really rough.
Why Phoenix?
I don't know.
No, you guys just picked it randomly.
I was like, hey, is this a good area? And I think he said, yeah.
I mean, but why Arizona though? Is that where?
So yeah, at the time, Irvin was one of my best friends. You know, you guys will see him. He had a year left on his contract, so I kind of just wanted to start somewhere fresh where I had him and another Marine, pretty much like a fire team out here, which is, a fire team is 4 people, to have a support out here. So I wanted to start fresh because, like I said, cornfields and bean fields in Illinois, it wasn't for me.
Yep.
And it's cold.
And so he was already out here. He said he had a year left. He was stationed.
He had a year
here?
left. My buddy, another buddy who just got out, his name was Joel. He was out here. So I had somebody here. I had a support system.
Okay.
But I had no job lined up. I pulled for unemployment for a few months and worked at the bars just to kind of make ends meet, to figure out what was going on. And, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I picked Phoenix randomly as well. When I got out, I drove to Ohio with Griff, and I just kind of was like, I'm going to work here for a year, and then I'm going to just pick a college. And it was like, what college has, a decent school, good weather, decent sports teams. I was like, ASU's got a top 25 team every now and then, great weather. It came down to ASU and Florida State, and I looked up Florida State's weather, and it rains like 280 days a year, and I was like, ASU. I was super pumped. So talk to me about how much you enjoy Phoenix. Is it somewhere you can see yourself being long term, or what's the how do you like Phoenix, and how does it compare to other places you lived?
It's great. Back in early 2019, I got a chip on my shoulder, and I tried moving back home for 6 months back to Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
During the coldest winter there was. I survived 6 months. Say hi to the family for a long-term little visit. Jetted right back here because this is a destination spot for a lot of people. There's so much opportunity. We're creating an opportunity.
Yep.
And it's just, really, it's got everything you want. You go 2 hours north. It's beautiful. You go to Rocky Point.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's really got everything. And right now it's considered home.
Awesome. Yeah. If it just had a little bit nicer weather, then people would probably flood here even more so. Yeah. So I kind of am thankful for the 120 degrees every now and then, but I also love the fact that it's I think it's the only city I've ever been to that has not felt like a city everywhere you go. Like, yes, when we're in downtown, like at the office, there might be like a little problems parking, if you go up the corner. But if you go anywhere in Tempe, anywhere in Gilbert, anywhere in Scottsdale, other than like down to Old Town, it's like you're just in a town. Like everywhere has parking. There's never. Then I go to another city, and even a city of just like 250,000, and I can't find parking that's not paid for. I got a parallel park, and I'm just freaking out. I'm taking Ubers everywhere, and I'm just losing my mind. So
that's a sight to see, watching you parallel park.
I'm not the best driver in the world. I look at a lot of things, and parking's not one of them. Driving in general. All right, awesome. So you then you got out of the Marine Corps. You did a little stint at Scottsdale Community College, right? You play some football.
Yes.
Fighting artichokes.
Yes, I was actually at Mesa Community College for a semester getting my EMT certification. No, Mesa was just getting those, what do you call them, gen eds out of the way.
Yep.
I did a semester there, and then I got my EMT certification out of the Scottsdale Community College. Didn't send them my highlight tape, otherwise I probably would have been on the football team.
That's a long-running joke of Tony the Toaster, running back extraordinaire.
I got videos on the phone. Tried showing one to a guy at the bar last night.
Yeah.
Not last night, the other night.
Oh, that's funny. So talk to me a little bit about kind of future goals within the company, financial, just what what are you looking to achieve over the next 12 months? And what are you kind of working on, fitness wise, financial, etc.
Awesome. Yeah. I have very high hopes and goals for this year. Ever since we started, tracking our sales progression, I've been able to actually see my progression these last 3 months. So now I can, utilizing, the marketing battle pass, I know where I need to be to hit those goals.
Yep.
And I beat myself up for this. The last 4 years, I didn't purchase a home. Whether it's here or wherever I decide to purchase a home, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Finally.
Yeah.
So, the next years, I definitely want to smash my income goals. And I want to purchase a forever home. Whether, like I said, whether it's here or wherever. Let's see. What else we got?
What about some fitness goals? Anything you're getting ready for?
Yeah. Me and you are probably going to start sparring here soon.
Yeah.
Really, I just... you know, I've stepped away from trying to look like I can, or trying to bench 500 pounds and just being look like I can actually lift it. So, you know, me and Cody, we do a bunch of boxing cardio, Tabata type workouts. Really, I'd like to trim about 15 pounds, watching my diet, kind of cutting out some of the alcohol and the unwanted calories. Really just being mindful of my body, because being 31 now, I feel it when I wake up. So really mindful, and I can already see it, you know, making those commitments, showing up, for us in our going running tomorrow, but showing up there, it makes my entire workday better. Obviously, the perks of having a gym at the office, but I mean, getting up and killing that morning. I know we're big on that, but it's already shown in these few short 3 months.
Definitely, and I think one of my goals before the end of the year, and I think you might share that as well, is to do some type of formal martial arts. You know, whether it's Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's funny because Nolan, my 7-year-old has the, wants to be an MMA fighter now. And so she's asking about going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai. And so, you know, I've talked about in other episodes, and I talk about with you guys a lot, you always got to look for ways to make yourself better other than just discipline. Like, yes, I can always, try to bite down on the mouthpiece and come up and show earlier, but if I can say, hey, you meet me here at 5:30 and you're going to be here at 5:30, well, man, I got to be here at 5:30. So if she wants to go do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I might as well do it while I'm there too. So it's I'm excited about that. But yeah, talk a little about some martial arts goals. Is that something, we've kind of kicked around the idea. Are you ready to take the big leap?
I honestly, I want to get in a boxing ring. I honestly think I want to do that, but I think whether it's Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's going to just help sharpen my mentality and my overall flexibility, athleticism. So yes, I am. When and where, not yet sure. We're going to figure that out here in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going to say no for sure.
Awesome. Cool.
Choke Cody out.
All righty. Well, I definitely appreciate you joining. I really, really love all the how far you've come in the story. It's just been really cool to have known each other for going on 7-8 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been a really, really crazy ride from just being a couple knuckleheads to kind of going our separate ways for a couple years to now coming back to doing everything we've just done over just 1 year. I mean, that's that's the craziest spot. The craziest part is I think about it all the time. Is like, man, it's like been a year and a half. And just to see how many lives we have impacted, how much you've grown, how much I've grown, and just how much we have to still grow. So, love that you came on, stepped out of your comfort zone. You're a little bit nervous to get started. Hit your flow state. Thanks for being a part of this amazing. Thanks for guys tuning in again. Tony Williams, sales manager. Hope you guys learned something. Talk to you next week.